Welcome everybody to this month's EVerest Technical Steering Committee. Nice of you to join. Highlights of this month. So ICNC Tech Village was an amazing highlight. So many people that we've talked to, so many interesting talks. I think for EVerest itself, the integration of smart charging now being wrapped up. So everything in there. Also, the California pricing requirements for 1.6 was already in there, but also now 2.0.1 is implemented. Yeah, and we were at a Plugfest testing with EVerest, and we heard other companies that aren't in the space explain to a third party what EVerest is. So we didn't even have to do it. So the word is really spreading. So it's like really amazing to hear everybody's just talking about EVerest. I think also at ICNC, Marco, we had somebody from the Californian was the
California Energy Council was on the main stage advertising EVerest, yeah.
Yeah, so amazing to see EVerest really spreading around and everybody talking about it. So yeah, really impressive. But as always, we start with the antitrust policy notice. For anybody, especially for people new in this call, please read this and comply with it. Leave it here for a couple of seconds for you to read. So what's new with EVerest? I don't think there's an update at the moment on EVerest-based chargers in the field. At least I haven't heard of a new one. If somebody knows of a new charger running EVerest that is publicly known that we can put on the slide here, then let us know. Also the DevKits, I don't think there's an update here, but these are all the DevKits that are currently available or are coming to the market that run EVerest. So quite some options already, and more will follow. And if you know of another one, please let us know. We can put it on the list. Let's start with the event recap. So what's happened? I think what we missed last TSC, Shankari, we hadn't put it on the list. You tell a bit on this one?
Sure. So I wasn't actually at the event, but DEF-CON is this big conference that is focused on cybersecurity. And so our program manager, Sarah Heipel, talked about EVerest. Apparently, she suggested that the community try to hack EVerest and provide feedback to the VMT. So we could, know for sure that it is cyber secure. And the Joet's representative to the EVerest VMT was also in attendance. I don't think they revealed themselves as being on the VMT, but they were there and heard that as well.
Amazing to see if this results in us getting more bug reports. On one hand, it's good. On the other hand, it's a bit scary, but yeah, it helps strengthen EVerest. Thanks. Then ICNC already touched upon it a bit. Yeah, 2 days in Berlin. We were there with our own booth. We helped organize the tech village together with Hubject. Marco did a presentation on how to build a DC charger. I did a presentation on how we do end-to-end security with in EV charging, so our lib security. Yeah, amazing days, really busy. A lot of people talking about EVerest, so it was really good atmosphere.
We had our own, help desk for EVerest, and there was, I think, a lot of discussion going around EVerest all the time.
Yeah, also that. And then we headed over to Brussels, me and Marco again. I presented the current status of EVerest. So the LF Energy Summit in Brussels is really where the LF Energy community comes together. So I presented the current status of EVerest, but also how it can help stabilize the grid. The presentation is now also online. And then I did, together with Christian, a demo of having CitroenOS and EVerest work together. So we really started up EVerest, started up CitroenOS clean, configured it and got it up and running and did a charging session. A little bit of demo effect there, but it comes with the territory. We had really good discussions with the public on different things of EV charging. So it was a really nice demo. Then we had, Andreas isn't here. There was an open source summit from the Linux Foundation Europe in Vienna. Andreas from Pionix presented there how to build a high performance charger with EVerest. We were all over the place. Marco, you went to the drop.
Was amazing. A lot of really, so I had a side event regarding open source and the climate tech industry. For me, it was really amazing that these big VC companies don't know the risk associated with open source. So that if you want to transfer a company or someone else is buying that, people are really looking into code base, have someone stolen open source, are the licenses correct, and how little is known in this industry when doing it wrong can cause us huge millions of dollars of risks. So I really think that we are good here. We know what we're doing, but it's amazing how little the industry out there know about what they're doing.
Thanks. And then we had the EAA transportation in Hanover, a big transport event. We were invited by Canonical. Canonical has made a demo of EVerest running on Ubuntu. And we were invited to be on their booth to talk about EVerest to potential customers there as well. So really amazing to get that opportunity from Canonical. We loved it. And then Pete and Mike went, at least Pete was on site. Mike was online at the OCA Plugfest in Stuttgart. Both did 9 to 10 test slots. So we had 19 test slots altogether with testing with EVerest. We heard the lunch at Vector was amazing, and they found some minor issues that need attention, both on the 1.6, a bit more on 2.0.1. So we learned some stuff, some things we can improve on. Some stuff is already being fixed during the event, and we also know that some other companies that were using EVerest were also on site and those also tested their chargers with EVerest. So quite some tests being done there as well to help improve EVerest. Then I think last days was Move in Australia, in the US. Shankari is just back from it. Did you get any sleep?
Yeah, so I just got back last night from Move America in Austin. Yannick was there and I attended as well. Pionix had a booth that was near ThoughtWorks. Actually, I should have said ThoughtWorks and not Meve. But you know, they're highlighting that integration. The Joet did not have a booth, but I spent the second day visiting every EV charging related booth on the main expo floor. I made a little survey for myself and filled it out after I talked to them because there were so many of them. There were a lot of chargers that said that they were Code Navi compliant and that claimed to support 201. But it was unclear whether they had all the functional groups. You know, core and advanced security, of course, smart charging. Everyone's like, well, I have to talk to the tech folks and get back to you, and so on. And I found that at least 2 companies indicated that they were using EVerest for their internal testing. So they were not doing EV chargers, but they were using EVerest as the EV charger layer for the work that they were actually doing already before.
So using EVerest as like a simulator to test their CPMS or some other system that they're developing.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's happening more often nowadays. That's so good. So those were the events. Then all the working groups so did the EVerest working groups, but also now new the EV Charging SIG. So within Linux Foundation Energy, we've started this new group that sits between the Technical Advisory Council and the Technical Steering Committee, which is responsible for reviewing all the different projects within the EV charging space within Linux Foundation Energy. we kicked it off last month at the LF Energy Summit in Brussels. We had a face-to-face meeting with the group. My first idea was like, yeah, how much do we have to talk about? We ended up with 7 people, I think, in the room, or 8. We had 1.5 hours planned. The event would end at 5. I kicked them out at 5:15 because I really needed to catch my train, because we were still discussing. There was so much interesting discussions on things that we can do with open source in the EV charging industry. What was also new is we have Open Leader, so the Open ADR project that was stranded at the moment. It has a new maintainer, and she was also in Brussels. A lot of positive energy there. So this project is also going to kick off again. Super interesting for people that do backends, but also the new OpenADR 3.0 project that is started and that's being implemented by Tweede Golf. That will also be integrated with EVerest later on, will be part of Open Leader. So good that that project still exists. And we had yesterday the second call online. This time it worked. Last time I had broken the Zoom link, so we didn't have that many people in the call. This time we had quite a good attendance. We redid the introduction round because we hadn't really done that the first time. And we had a good brainstorm on which projects are interesting for open source or do exist. So we're coming up with quite a long list of things that already exist. And we're now also start brainstorming of what's missing in the industry on open source software. Then back to the EVerest working groups. Our new brainchild, the Grid Integration and Energy Management Working Group, kicked off 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Quite a lot of people there presenting what we are planning to do for energy management. So this group really brings together all the protocols that are needed for energy management to talk to an energy management system. So OpenADR, EEBus, IEEE, now I've said it correctly, 3020.5, maybe Matter in the future, and that bringing into EVerest, into energy management, which also then resolves in smart charging, bidirectional charging. So this group is probably going to be one of the more active groups in the future. It's now being set up. The Zulip channel is there, and we have bi-weekly meetings. Next one is next week. Really looking forward to the outcome of this. Then cloud communication. Kai, you want to do the honors here?
Yeah, sure. So we're now pretty far ahead with the smart charging use cases for OCPP 201. The California pricing requirements have now not only been implemented for 1.6, but also for 2.01. And then for OCPP 2.1, since the public draft has been available for a few weeks, we're trying to get the architecture discussion going, or like a longer discussion on how we want to integrate this capability into our libOCPP.
Thank you. Then car communication, Moritz?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, the EVSE V2G has gotten support for the Trusted CA keys extension, which is something which is mandated in the spec, but nobody's using it much so far. I think this is just for TLS 1.2 actually. So now the extension, the client hello can be parsed. It's not being used yet to extract the SCCC lift certificate. There's going to be some changes to the EVSE security module or to the library. Bullets 2 and 3. There are now C++ based versions of the Slack and the Yeti simulators. Previously, there were only JavaScript versions, so getting rid of some node dependencies and giving you more possibilities to simulate that on the target hardware. And the -20 module is now ready for review. It's I think the pull request is out. It used to be called D20. It's now got a proper name as well. All the relevant changes for that are in the lib ISO 15118, which is the bullet below. Has gotten a separate release. There's quite a lot of changes, such as OpenSSL support, a lot of refactoring, log levels, and obviously the required features. So that's going along quite well. This is still not with dynamic mode. Sebastian is working on dynamic mode now, and that's what will be the next steps in the coming weeks.
Thank you. A lot of work there. Then EVerest framework and tools. Maybe Kai, have you been involved in this part?
Yeah, but we basically
Oh, yeah, we didn't
skipped the meeting because most people were out anyway. So, but there will be news in the coming month, I think.
Yeah, thanks. The next one is Monday. CI/CD then. Kai,
yeah. So there's been a bit of a refactoring in our Docker images, mostly for the CI, but also for a dev container that you can use going on. This is now done and merged. We found out that there's one particular issue on the way we did the this reusable workflow that would basically prevent people from executing the workflow if they fork a repository on GitHub. So that this part we've reverted for now and looking for a solution there. Other than that, there's code coverage for the different repositories being worked on. I think we have a kind of a design on how we want to do this in one of our libraries at the moment, and are trying to roll this out on more repositories. Then we played around a little bit with RenovateBot for integrations with getting that into our C++ based repos. That actually works pretty well. We'll just have to decide how chatty we want it to be, if we wanted to actually open pull requests and stuff like that. But yeah, that's still being worked on. And the biggest point is that we're preparing right now a pull request with integration tests for all kinds of OCPP use cases to be merged into EVerest core. It's probably not going to be something that needs to pass in every pull request because it will be relatively long running, but something that will periodically run and test out. I don't know how many there actually are, but way over 100 integration tests, I think.
Cool. Also a lot of work there. Thanks. Then the general discussion and Q&A. Quite busy as well. We went to bi-weekly schedule, so now it's quite busy. We have the SIE approaching us for MCS implementation. Also, some of these people we've already seen also in the car communication call last time, where we started to discuss how we can work with the people that are defining MCS. So that's really interesting to have those people also see EVerest as probably the reference implementation for MCS. Then work has started on 15118-8 Wi-Fi implementation. The person writing that, Roger Bedell, is really active and joining. If you have anything that you want on the agenda for the general call, send us an email, but also just join and if you have any questions, the general call is there for the general and Q&A. Vulnerability management team. They have nothing to report at the moment, so there's no open incidents. The team is set up. They are working now on the IT part. So mailing addresses are being set up. So the VMT has access to that, and we can publish also the email address to reach out to them if they want to. If somebody wants to contact them, but also if they want to contact somebody reporting a vulnerability. But at the moment, no open incidents. Then we go to the monthly release. It's September, so we go for a stable release. Kai, working on this?
Yeah, so just a small little recap. Typically, we do our source code releases with, let's say, limited amount of testing. But now every 3 months, we do this stable release with a feature freeze window that has, I think, happened yesterday or Tuesday. There was the first release candidate branched off, and now the focus is basically on additional testing and not so much on merging new features into that. There have already been a few fixes since then, so I would expect a second release candidate to drop sometime soon. But yeah, that's the state of that. And then to the release notes in general. Like I said earlier, we've on the libOCPP side done a big chunk of the OCPP 201 smart charging, and this has also been integrated on the EVerest side, as well as the California pricing requirements. In general, some other OCPP related fixes, and refactorings, especially in regards to the whole error handling, so that there's just a bit more graceful error handling in general in all kinds of modules. Next slide. Thanks. And then for features, this one-phase, three-phase switching has been extended in the EVSE manager. As Moritz already mentioned earlier, the C++ based Slack simulator has been merged. Some additions for the 5-ERSO PSP, and in general some fixes for all kinds of charging processes. That's pretty much it. And as I said, we're doing lots of testing right now, and will probably be released, I guess, in a week or a little bit later than that.
Thanks for the update. What's next? What will follow? So, if you are using EVerest, if you are happy with it as a company, please also join Linux Foundation Energy. They run all our infrastructure. They host all the conferences. They provide us all the support for organizing all the events. They make sure we have Zoom available. They organize a security audit of all the projects, also for EVerest. They're all funding this from the membership fees that they get. So if you are a company actively using EVerest, if you have the possibility, please also join Linux Foundation Energy to keep these guys going and keep our infrastructure and tools running. Then roadmap. Nothing updated here. I think we're heading into Q4, so it's time to do an update of the roadmaps again. So maybe also a request to the different working groups to have a look on the roadmaps and do an update for the next TSC. So on the car side, I don't think there's an update, Kai or Moritz. Do you know? No. It's also something to look at.
Q3 is almost over, so we'll see a lot of new things quite soon.
Yeah. So also time to update roadmaps. Long term, OCP. Also, this needs to be updated. OCP 201 is almost finished. We are starting to look at 2.1. 1180-20 is getting to a really good state now. We are expecting GBT really to come in also in Q4. Yeah, we are working on an e-bus, and we know that work started on OpenADR. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening, a lot of new stuff coming in the next months. Then next on the agenda is task 53. We got approached. They started as they first approached us as Pionics, but in the end, I think the request is more to the Everest community. The International Energy Agency, the EAA, has a working group that works on hybrid and electric vehicle technology collaboration programs. They do different projects. They don't call them projects, they call them tasks, and they just do incremental numbers. So we end up with task 53 is the latest one. It's just being kicked off, and the focus is on interoperability of bidirectional charging. They really want to research and show interoperability of bidirectional charging. So have different implementations in vehicles, charging with different brands, different implementations in charging stations, connecting them to different grids, just to get how good does all of this work? Are there gaps in protocols? Is there stuff we can learn to really help the rollout of bidirectional charging in the future? Their targets that they've set is be a platform for discussion and analysis. So really starting with looking at the specs, doing interviews, doing desk research on the specs, and also get experience from people that have implemented it. Then work on a common understanding of the communication between vehicle and charger, but also between charger and the grid. So grid codes and 1578-20. And share that knowledge. And then in the end, the goal is to do physical tests, really get the charging stations, the vehicles in a lab, do these tests on different locations with different grid and equipment to really show that this works. And the end goal is the knowledge transfer between all the parties, all the industries, so people can learn from this with all the results that come out of this new task. The question that we got from them is, do we as LF Energy Everest want to join? They would love to have, especially Everest, join because it's an open source project. It represents probably the future of charging. Their end goal is to have at least 3 different implementations of charging stations. They would love to see 1 or 2 physical implementations, so 1 or 2 different manufacturers using Everest as charging station. They don't want 3 Everest implementation because they still want to see different implementations. And the goal is to, we talked to LF Energy itself. We talked to Alex, the director. LF Energy is really open to join, but they want, he also wanted the feedback from our community. Now we voted on this, and we said yes. So the Linux, so the Everest project will join task 53. Now it's up to us as community to provide companies that can provide the hardware. So we will look inside in the Everest community who can provide, who is working on this. Maybe not have something now. The testing won't start next month, but who is working on something that would be available for testing by the time they want to do these tests. There's 2 test labs involved. One is the Argonne National Lab in the US. The other one is a joint research center in Ispra in Italy. As this is Europe and US, we can also provide 1 or 2 contact persons to the task group. We will look in Europe for one, and Shankari has offered to talk within the joint office to see if one of them can be the contact person for the US. Makes things a little bit easier if we don't need to be at all the events at all different continents all the time. But yeah, we're gonna do this. So really looking forward to contributing to this. Upcoming events. Yeah, vacation period is really over, so a lot happening. Pionics and ChargeByte are heading over to France, to Versailles, for the Char and Testival beginning of October. There is a Innovation Network Future Car event in Frankfurt where we will be. Then it's a celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Open Charge Line. So the organization maintaining the OSPP protocol exists 10 years. There's a celebration. So Marco and myself will be there. Not sure if somebody else will be there from the community. So it's one day of conference and the other day is site visits. Then in November we have Electronica. Marco will give a presentation there, I know for sure. And I know some other companies will probably also have stands there that work on hardware. Then we have the Charmer Festival in the US. I know that the Joint Office at least is going to do a demo. Not sure if we as Pionix will be there. That is not clear yet, but yeah, and more is coming. A lot is happening. And if you know some events where somebody will represent EVerest, please let us know so we can put it on the list. Next technical steering committee is the 24th of October. So 5 o'clock. Really would love to see you. If you want to join a weekly call or bi-weekly call, the most logical one to start with is the general and QA call. Tuesdays, 4:30 Central European time. So it should also be useful for people in the US time zones. That brings us to the end of the official part, and we will stop.